the storm forcing about 400,000 others to evacuate.
Well, as we mentioned at the top of the hour, the war of words is now taking a pretty ugly turn on the campaign trail. Governor Mitt Romney stepping up his calls for an apology over a, quote, ridiculous and absurd attack by President Obama's re-election team about his time at Bain Capital, slamming a comment that the former governor may have committed a felony as an attempt to shift focus away from the issues that matter most. Listen.
With now 41 straight months with unemployment above 8%. And what does the president do? He says he's going to raise taxes on people. He's trying to gut welfare reform as we know it. And he launches a tax of this nature. It's just beneath the dignity of his office.
Ron Bonjean is a former communications director to House Speaker Dennis Hastert and former Texas Congressman Martin Frost joining me now. Ron, as the President of the United States, shouldn't Obama be concentrating on what direction he plans to take this country if he's reelected and how he plans on improving unemployment numbers, for example, instead of grabbing at straws with these attacks on Romney? And do you believe that Obama owes Romney an apology?
Oh, yes, absolutely. The Obama campaign absolutely owes Romney an apology, but desperate times call for desperate measures from the Obama camp. Unemployment is still at record highs. It's not coming down anytime soon. People do not feel better than they did 4 years ago when they elected Obama in office, when he promised things would get better. And so now Obama is bringing out the dirty tricks bag, is going after the Romney campaign in any way they can. What they're trying to do is define Mitt Romney before the American people get to know him, so that Americans don't find him to be a credible alternative going into the voting booth in November.
Martin, Friday, President Obama defended his attacks on Romney's tenure at Bain Capital and said essentially that if you're the head of a large private equity firm or hedge fund, your job is to make money. It's not to create jobs. So he points out that Mitt Romney isn't a former president. In fact, he's just a former finance guy. Well, we know that he's not a former president. He's running to become president. So what is he saying, that Mitt Romney isn't qualified to become president because he's a successful businessman? I mean, look at the state of the economy right now. Who's qualified to make it better?
Yeah, Julie, that's not what he's saying, of course. Romney is denying that he had anything to do with Bain Capital during the period of time that they were involved in outsourcing. And what Obama's pointing out, and his campaign people are pointing out, is that Romney was chairman, president, and CEO of Bain Capital during that time. Now, look, I serve on a corporate board, and certainly the president, chairman, and CEO of a company knows what's happening at that company, is involved in those decisions, and can't deny that he had anything to do with the company. That's the issue. Now, in terms of the issue of saying this is a felony, I think that was a bad decision by the Obama campaign. I wouldn't accuse him of committing a felony, but that does distract from the fact that there is a legitimate issue here. Bain Capital was outsourcing at a time that Romney was chairman, CEO, and president. And I can tell you the chairman, CEO, and president of the company where I serve on the board knows what's going on with that company.
Ron, are you saying that Mitt Romney is lying? I mean, is that what Democrats are trying to say?
Well, yeah, that's absolutely what they're trying to do. But you know what? The facts have come out now. Bain Capital says it was lax in its paperwork. Romney, and everybody knows Romney was at the Salt Lake City Olympics during that time. Had nothing to do with it. But what's really interesting is that we're not talking about President Obama's outsourcing of jobs through the stimulus package with solar energy and all kinds of energy initiatives that have actually created jobs overseas instead of here at home. So they've really let out open a Pandora's box here by talking about this issue.
Okay.
Yeah, Julie, I'd like to observe something if I could.
Sure,
I think that both of the campaigns are way too negative right now. The Romney campaign has been very negative going after the president. Really, they and their supporters raising the question of whether he's fit to be president. Everybody needs to calm down a little bit here. What's going to happen is if you keep these negative attacks up starting in the summer and going straight through to November.
I'm not hearing negative attacks on Romney's campaign. I think that the negative attacks are primarily coming from the president's campaign.
Julie, let me finish. I've watched the ads. I live in Northern Virginia. There have been a number of negative ads in Virginia run by the Romney campaign and the organizations, these super PACs supporting him. Now, look, What I'm saying is that both campaigns need to kind of calm down for a little bit. If this keeps up, if we have this negative level of campaigning for 3 or 4 months, I think there's going to be a low turnout. I think people are going to be turned off. People aren't going to vote, and that doesn't serve democracy. I think both camps need to calm down. Look,
the president is held up to a certain standard, and when he comes out on national network television interviews, and this one in particular that I wanted to show everyone a clip of, where he was asked how he would measure Romney's business experience, considering he is a successful businessman, and whether it qualifies or disqualifies him to be a good president. Here's how Obama replied. Take a listen.
I do not think at all it disqualifies him, but I also think it's important if that's his main calling card. If his basic premise is that I'm Mr. Fix-It on the economy because I made a lot of money.
Martin, Romney's never made that claim. He's never once come out and said he's Mr. Fix-It, and he's never once said that his successful business record means that he's going to step in and make miracles. I mean, he's overstepping again there.
Julie, everybody supporting Romney has been saying that for months and months. That's been the main thrust of his campaign during the primary season and now. So let's don't play games here. Clearly the Romney campaign has been making that point. And the president is justified in saying that just because you're a successful businessman doesn't automatically make you a successful president. There's nothing wrong with saying that. But let's get on to what, the point that was made earlier. Both campaigns need to say what they would do. The president has said he has a package of job creation proposals that Congress has refused to enact. He also thinks that the top 2% should pay higher taxes than everybody else, take care of the middle class. Romney's position is that there should be tax cuts for everyone. Let's have an argument about that. Let's join that issue. Both of them need to focus on the issues that they think are important for the country. Both of them have made points, but the media wants to go off on a tangent and just talk about the very negative things. The media ought to be holding to both these candidates to the standard of exactly what you would do if you were president for the next 4 years. Those are legitimate things to raise.
Yeah.
We've listened to Democrats spend a lot of time also questioning Romney and his tax returns, and they want additional tax returns to be released. He says that his accountants are going to be releasing them as soon as they're ready. So there's a lot of talk, of course, about Romney and how much money this guy has. Let's not forget, though, back in 2007, when President Obama released his income tax return, it showed a $4 million income. So he also had to deflect charges of elitism. I guess how is he to say that Romney is out of touch with the working class? And that is an argument that we continue to hear over and over and over again.
Well, Julie, we'll give Ron a chance too. But look, they're talking about.
It's my turn to talk, Congressman. With all due respect, I'd like to get.
Sure, go ahead. Go ahead. You need your chance.
I'll tell you what. The Obama campaign is throwing in the kitchen sink against Romney right now because it is neck and neck across this country, and they know people are starting to look at Romney as a viable alternative. They're nervous about it. Now even the president is taking off the gloves. When we're talking about calming down, we need to talk about the Obama campaign calming down, because what they're doing is forcing the Romney campaign to escalate, to fight back. Romney has to fight back. There's no way he's just going to let sit on his hands and let the Obama campaign define him. It's just simply wrong. And the president's record is what's on the line here. We have high
on the tax return issue.
Jobs. No one feels better off than they did.
We got to go.
4 years ago.
Romney gave 22 years of tax returns to McCain when he was being considered for vice president. Why did he just do 2 now? That's a legitimate question.
He's giving more than being required. I mean, that's the bottom line. He said he's going to give what's required and then more. So I don't know what more you could possibly ask for if he's going above the grade. That's all the time we have for now. Congressman Martin Frost and Ron Bonjean, we appreciate you both coming on today.
Thank you.
Rick.
Medicaid, a major topic at the National Governors Association meeting. Governors in a bunch of different states saying that they will opt out of the Medicaid expansion. That's a part of Obamacare. We'll look at who's opting out and why and what it means for millions of Americans coming up.
Last season was the goal.